And a good morning to all of you Devils fans and what is going on. It is your boy Neil Villapiano, the host of the Devil State of Mind podcast, and we have breaking news. Yes, episode 2 with the boys from Checking for Behind is already out. I will promote that later today, I promise. But I wanted to jump on here really quickly because we have breaking news involving the one player left that the Devils had yet to lock down to a new contract, and it came at around 7:30 this morning per Darren Dreger, as the New Jersey Devils have officially signed Dawson Mercer to a bridge deal contract of 3 years at $4 million per year. So he'll be making about $12 million in total. And the Devils finally locked down their one remaining big restricted free agent. And that was such a relief to wake up to this morning. I mean, it was just absolutely phenomenal that Tom Fitzgerald and the organization were able to come to terms on a contract with Pat Brisson, Mercer's agent, and Dawson Mercer. And so Mercer, I would imagine that he'll probably be at practice this morning with one of the groups. So fortunately for him, he will not miss any game time. His consecutive streak of 246 games right now remains intact going in to his fourth season. And this is a really good deal for both sides. From the Devils' perspective, obviously, number one, the main priority is getting Dawson Mercer signed. That was the first thing, and that is great. The second thing is that you're not giving him a huge amount of money, and it is a bridge contract. So you're giving him an opportunity to get an uptick in salary, but also a chance to prove himself moving forward. He will be 27 by the time this contract comes up in a couple of years. And I'll show you the breakdown of the contract in just a moment, courtesy of Puckpedia. And the Devils now, granted, they have a little bit less than $1 million in cap space, but still have a little bit of room to do some other things down the road if need be. And obviously, they have room in the next couple of years to make other signings involving a lot of players within their organization, guys like Simone Nemec and Luke Hughes and other guys like that. And it really is just great. And you could definitely tell that, again, this was not about the term. I think 3 years was pretty much what we were all expecting. I think it was the money. Maybe Tom Fitzgerald was trying to, try to get under $4 million. But, again, $4 million is pretty much, I think, what everybody expected that Dawson Mercer was going to get. And that's exactly what he gets. So let's take a look really quickly here at the breakdown of the contract here, again, courtesy of Puckpedia. So, Dawson Mercer will be making exactly $4 million for these 3 years, for this year, next year, and then 2026-27. The good news is that he will be, and I had it wrong, by the way, he will be 25 by the time this contract ends, so even better than that. He will be a restricted free agent yet again in 2027, so the Devils will still very much have its rights and are not necessarily worried about losing him in unrestricted free agency. So overall, I mean, this is just a great piece of business from Tom Fitzgerald. And Fitzy talked to the media after practice, first day of practice yesterday, after all the groups, and he was alongside Sheldon Keefe, and he said that a deal was pretty much on the verge of happening, and they were hopeful to get it done in the next couple of days. And, Darren Traeger said in the middle of the New York Jets, New England Patriots Thursday night football game last night, the Devils got the deal done. So I'm sure for Dawson Mercer and the Devils, they are both very relieved to finally get this done. And it's just so big that the Devils were able to do that. And let's take a look really quickly here, if we can, on Dawson Mercer, just in terms of his overall, like how he's done through the first 3 years of his career. Because I think it's important to kind of, establish and look at the fact and look at what he's been able to do, and also why, maybe he didn't get a long-term contract right away here, as we'll bring it up right here. So you look at his first year, 21-22, again, played in all 82 games, put up 17 goals, 25 assists for 42 points. He had a tremendous year in 2022-23, like a lot of the Devils players, putting career highs in goals and assists for a total of 56 points. Also had an impressive plus 22 on ice. And then last year, he took a little bit of a dip, as again, He has still yet to miss a game in his career. He's now at 246 consecutive games played. He had 20 goals, so he has his second already 20-goal season, but only 13 assists for a total of 33 points and a plus minus of minus 26. So I think if the Devils were negotiating with Dawson Mercer at the end of 2022-23, I think that they would have been able to make more of a deal for long term. But because Dawson Mercer had a down year, the Devils, understandably so, want to give Mercer, a contract that is favorable to him where he gets more money, but also that it gives him time and the organization time to see him develop even more. And this is a big year for Dawson Mercer in terms of establishing himself as a top six player. We've seen him play on the top six. We've seen him play on that third line as well. But I think it's now time for him to truly establish himself, as a top six guy that can do a little bit of everything. Remember, he can play both on the wing and as well as a centerman as well. Kind of not a Swiss Army knife, but a, Canadian Army knife, I guess you could say, where he could do a little bit of everything. And I'm sure Sheldon Keefe is going to use that to his advantage night in and night out. And I'm sure for Sheldon Keefe, he's relieved to get Dawson Mercer into camp after missing one day. And I think Mercer's been in New Jersey anyway. So I think it's just a matter of they knew that the deal was on the verge of being done and they got it done. We'll never know exactly the truth as to why it took so long. Maybe Mercer or, Fitzy will give us a little bit more insight. I doubt it. But the bottom line is that the Devils get Dawson Mercer signed, and that's the big thing. And I'm so relieved and excited. I knew that they were going to get a deal done, and I'm glad they did. So the Devils officially bring back the dog, Dawson Mercer, on a 3-year, $12 million bridge deal, and he will remain a New Jersey Devil moving forward. So Dawson Mercer is back, baby.